So many interesting drops in the last couple of hours. If you're an AI developer, it's worth paying attention. Are these new releases going to move the needle much for us, or are they just more of the same? Let's check it out. So, number one, we have Cloud Opus 4.6 just dropped. Everybody was expecting Sonnet 5, but just in the last 2 hours, we've been given Cloud Opus 4.6 with some nice little upgrades. Not to be outdone, OpenAI just dropped GPT 5.3 Codex, so we're also going to take a look at that. OpenAI also released their Codex app. That was a couple of days ago. I've been playing with it a bit, so I've got my initial report on that. If you're Claude Code users, some interesting releases like obviously Opus 4.6, research preview agents, and we've got a new partial summarization ability. So we'll take a look at all those. If you're new here, I'm Rob. I have 20 years of experience as a software developer and product manager, and I have hundreds of videos covering Cursor, Claude Code, and AI development in general. You can also check out my community at switchdimension.com, where I've got a whole course on building apps from scratch without writing any code. First off, let's take a quick look at the official release from Opus. So the first key point is we've got a 1 million context window. That's a significant jump, and it matches other models like Gemini. I wouldn't get too excited by this context window because in my experience with Gemini, even when you have this larger context window, you still tend to run into the same kind of issues. It doesn't really mean you can fit in 4 times the code base and 4 times the conversations. There are some trade-offs. So we still need to manage context. So taking a quick look at the benchmarks here for knowledge work, agentic search, all seeing decent jumps. Now, we have an unfair comparison here because we're comparing Opus 4.5 against GPT 5.2. And of course, that just literally came out today as well at the same time. They're on such a mission to trump each other with feature releases. So if we do compare Terminal Bench 2 here of Opus 4.6 at 65.4%, OpenAI look like they have a big jump here in terms of accuracy. Again, you just really can't trust these. You have to wait a week or so, test it out yourself, see what the rest of the market thinks. Then we'll know truly which one is a better model. Now, this is a pretty interesting release here, agent teams, and there's a dedicated blog post to this as well. The ability to orchestrate teams of Claude code sessions. So we just need to copy this, go to your settings.json file, and then you just need to add in this line to the bottom of your settings.json file. Okay, so we're going to use the sample prompt here. So we're using Opus 4.6. So I'm designing a CLI tool that helps developer track to do comments across their code base. Create an agent team to explore this from different angles. One teammate of UX, one of technical architecture, one playing devil's advocate. Set up a team to explore your to-do tracking CLI tool. Okay, so this is the start of the team setup. It's spawning out 3 different teammates. You can see here the orchestration of each one of the agents is being managed. Now we get this interface here where it says we've got each one of our agents is working, and then we can just type shift up to expand on what they're working on. You can see what each one of them is doing, and this is actually updating in real time. So I can control my team by just having a chat with the lead agent. So if we go back here, basically I can use natural language to direct the agent management here. So I'm talking to the lead orchestrator. Now, the next thing I can do using shift up and down is I can actually select which one of the sub-agents I want to deal with. If I want to work with the devil's advocate, the tech architect, the UX specialist, I can just select each one of those and have a conversation. So checking back in, you can see all of our agents have finished their work. The UX specialist delivered its comprehensive design report. Then we have the technical architect communicating back in as well. And then we have our tidy up here at the end. All 3 teammates have shut down. Let me clean up the team resources. So it looks like we used a decent chunk of usage there. I'm on the max plan. Now, curiously enough, looking at our context usage here, it says we're using Cloud Opus 4.6, but it's only showing 45K of 200K tokens. So I thought this would have updated to 1 million, or maybe this just hasn't been updated yet. So in reality, there's going to be pros and cons to using either sub-agents or agent teams. Obviously, there's going to be a higher cost using agent teams, and sub-agents still have a strong place in your workflow. Next up, in terms of new features, we have some advanced compaction happening. As our context window grows, you've more control over your settings. Claude will automatically compact the conversation and summarize it so that you can keep moving forward. Now, on the API, there is also the ability to use adaptive thinking. So, as you pass requests to the API, so this is if you're using the API, not necessarily Claude Code, it can actually figure out what level of thinking it needs to apply to a certain request or task that's being sent through. If you are a Microsoft user, you can now install Claude in Excel and in PowerPoint. I've actually been using Claude in Excel and it's really quite powerful. It's a lot better than Copilot. So, in terms of Opus 4.6 pricing, it looks like it's exactly the same as it was before, and Opus is one of the most expensive models out there. Now, it is truly a great model and it's one of my favorites, but man, it is pretty expensive on particularly if you're paying by the API and not using one of the max plans. Now, we don't have API pricing yet for GPT 5.3 Codex, so it's hard to run a comparison, but it looks like it's going to be similar to 5.2, then 1.75 for input and about $14 for the output. So potentially considerably cheaper than the Opus model, but we're going to have to wait for official figures to find out. So looking at GPT Codex, we're seeing a decent jump on the SWE Bench Pro. So that's software engineering. And that's what we like to see when we're talking about AI development. Also, here in the terminal bench, a decent jump. So, the team here is showing some examples of games that were developed. You can't really tell much by this, but they do look pretty nice. So, GPT 5.3 Codex is available now, and apparently it's 25% faster for Codex users. And this is thanks to all that NVIDIA investment because they're running on NVIDIA GB200s. And of course, another big update from OpenAI is the launch of their Mac application, probably soon to be Windows as well. But this is, to me, very like the experience you get with Conductor or maybe Cursor or Anti Gravity in the way that you can set up multiple different projects and threads and orchestrate and manage them all together. So essentially, each one of these threads or projects I can open up. So these could be completely different projects. I can also plug in and use skills, which were pioneered, of course, by Anthropic, and I've covered heavily on the channel in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So something really interesting here is the addition of automations. So these are technically going to be skills that you can run using cron jobs. So a bit of an overlap here with what we've seen from OpenClaw and other tools like that. Be interesting to see how people start to use this and this ecosystem plays out. So basically, you can just open a new project and just start a new thread. And right now, I can now select Codex 5.3. So just like Cursor, Conductor, etc., they're fully using the idea of having local branches, work trees, and working in the cloud and working off your Git repositories. You can open up your work then in any tool that you want. And the code review setup is pretty decent, not unlike what you would get from Cursor. And then I can select any given piece of content, click on it, and then actually request a change using AI. Now, in the couple of days I've been using it, I've found the experience a little bit janky. In order for it to pick up repository changes or commits, I've almost had to restart the application several times. So hopefully they'll kind of iron that kind of stuff out. So let's check it out in terms of speed. Now, bearing in mind, the entire world is probably testing out this model right now. So this is a real test of those NVIDIA servers. So finished its initial research and now it's making its way through its task list. Very similar to what you'd see in Cursor. Now, speaking of Cursor, I'm not actually seeing access to GPT 5.3 yet, but that might be coming soon. Or maybe we're going to have to wait for API access. So once your project is complete, you can go and stage all your changes, commit, create a PR, or push up to your repository. And you can set up whatever environments you want as you spin them up and down. If you want to get your head around Git work trees, and using Git with AI, I've got a video here a couple of weeks ago on the channel that's really worth taking a look at. So I got Codex to create a simple index HTML page to do a comparison. It's by no means a test of the model, but it was fast. It did set up a tool list and used search accurately. So the big question is, which one are you going to be using? Personally, what I'm doing is I'm testing each one of them, seeing where they fit and where they don't fit. Historically, I was very pro the Anthropic models for software development. They're the ones I use the most of the time, all the way back to Sonnet 3.5. In terms of a tool, I heavily rely on Cursor and also Claude Code, because Claude Code has great usage of subagents and it's got a great SDK when I want to build tools on top of it. I'll be honest, I've been ignoring the Codex tools for quite some time. I haven't been the biggest fan of the GPT models. just don't necessarily gel with them that much. Where I find them decent is when you want to be pretty surgical about refactors. The Claude models are really good at jumping ahead, being enthusiastic, and creating lots of prototypes very quickly and good design as well. And that's a lot of the stuff that I kind of do. I'm building out prototypes, testing things out, and rolling out new features. Now, when it comes to brownfield projects, I do like to use GPT series when it comes to surgical refactors, and it kind of just says what it's going to do and it does it, and it's not over enthusiastic. The pricing is a big consideration because the GPT series is that much cheaper. And to be honest, I like the workflow of the new Codex app, the idea of having multiple threads and being able to orchestrate lots of them together. But I'm assuming Cursor is going to bring this kind of feature out quite shortly. It already does a good job of managing multiple different agents in one project. I have a feeling we're going to see an orchestrator tool, and that would give me the best of both worlds to be able to manage GPT 5.3 along with Opus 4.6 together in one application. So I'd love to get your thoughts and opinions. What are you going to be using? What are you enjoying at the moment? And what are your thoughts on all these new feature releases?